So I had all these ideas in my head that I was going to come on and pretend to be British and be like, oh yes, it's Chip and Crisp. Is that not right? Crisp? Which one's Crisp?
Which one's
that would
Crisp?
have been very surprising. Like, wait a second, what?
I think I've done things like that.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, synchronize swatches. Not a problem.
Abraham Benrubi, thank you very much for joining us. We are stoked to have you. And I think we'll kick it off with kind of a question we've been throwing it to everybody. Take us back in time. It's 1989. You're about to walk in to audition for the role of Larry Kubiac. Tell us where you are in your life at this time and where you are in your career.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and a Hollywood movie came to Indy to shoot, to use our Olympic diving facility, the natatorium. And I wound up getting a little part in that, and all those Hollywood folks encouraged me to come out to LA, and so I moved out. September of '89, I arrived in Hollywood, and by February, I had worked on a couple things, and this process had started. There were like 6 auditions to get Kubiac, and I was new and raw and had no idea what I was doing, and somehow I managed to book a thing, book a role. This is, you guys can go dig this up. There's going to be a lot of that. I managed to book a role on a movie that was shooting at the same time. The movie was called Prayer of the Roller Boys.
Oh.
And that's got one of the Corey Haim in it, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You know this? Why?
I know a lot of obscure ass 80s shit, man. Unfortunately, it doesn't do me any good. But.
No, look, here you are.
Yeah,
all 6 of us are here together. So then my agents had this leverage, like, oh, he's going to take this movie and go be on roller skates, on inline skates with Corey Haim, and so I think that pressured them into bringing me into what would have been the screen test at the time, where we probably had to read with Corky, although I don't remember doing that. He claims it happened, but I don't remember it. Now let me put this caveat out there, since we're beginning our interview. I have smoked considerably more cannabis than Troy Slayton, and probably more than Corin as well. Probably.
All right.
So my memories may be slightly altered.
Altered memories are fine.
I agree.
They're just another reality.
Yeah. So, 6 months into being in LA, and I got this part on this TV show, and I go to the first day, and Billie Jean has already got me smoking Marlboro Reds, and Mila Jovovich, the 14-year-old supermodel, is like, hey, you're a handsome big guy. I'm like, what? Where am I? What is this? I'm a big goon from Indiana, and it was fun, man. That was my college and my hazing and all of that sort of smashed into one.
Yeah, like welcome to Hollywood, man. That's
When you went into audition for that, was it just like a room full of giant dudes? Like, were there other people in there?
Yes, and in fact, I think they wound up casting most of them on subsequent episodes of Parker Lewis, because there was always like a stink eye kind of thing from some of them. Like, there's a guy called BJ Barry who plays. He's like Jerry. I don't know where you guys are in your watching back, but
we've seen Badge.
You've seen Badge.
Yeah, we've seen Badge. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the episode where he's like Jerry's video game dealer?
Yeah, we just watched that one. That was the one I edited today, yeah. He's in the restroom and he opens up his coat.
That's good shit. I'm pretty sure it was between he and I in the final countdown. And then also I saw you guys have watched Teacher already.
Yes.
And I want to say that probably McDonald, the big guy who we lost, was up for the role as well.
This show was kind of out in left field. I mean, it was not your typical sitcom, right? It was cartoony. They were trying stuff. When you first went in, did you know what you were getting yourself into?
Not even a little. And in fact, I don't think that even when we shot the pilot, it wasn't as extreme as it became. Interesting though, I had already been a fan of like 3 O'clock High and another great film called My Bodyguard, which I think had sort of a similar feel. And this is just in terms of like Kubiac, right? And I was a huge fan of Clancy Brown in The Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
So my approach was to mash those three bullies. And it was so fun, man. I had no idea. I didn't come from show business like Troy and Corin, and I had no idea, and Billy for that matter. I had no idea I was supposed to be like a responsible human and like not do whatever I wanted. So a lot of stuff you see me doing as Kubiak is just me being in that moment and doing it. I remember, I don't remember which episode, but there's one where Kube is like getting ready for a date and Brian Spicer was the director. And at one moment I just went and fixed my eyebrows like that from a cartoon as a child. And Brian was like, "Where'd you get that idea?" It's like, I don't know, same place you get your ideas, some cartoon. Spielberg's first 3 movies. What do you want?
Did you get to bring a lot of stuff like that to the role over the course of your time there?
Yeah, I think that was like, the scenarios that I was put in as Kubiak were surreal and fun and bizarre and gave me the opportunity to do things I could never do in real life. I love the episode where Kube wins the lottery. It's super dumb. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have gotten there yet.
Yeah,
we haven't reviewed it yet, but I watched it the other day. It's a good.
I love when you guys point out all the dumb shit. That's my favorite part of the synchronized swatches so far, because there's a lot of it. But it's TV, man. Here's another thing. I'll just stick on the front end of this because I want you guys to keep this in mind as you go forward watching the rest of, especially the second season, where we had even more freedom, I think. Parker Lewis Can't Lose is often mistaken as a 90s show, but I would suggest that Parker Lewis Can't Lose is one of the first remix TV shows of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of the ideas come out of the creative people being fans of the 80s, 70s, 60s of Hollywood, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we still have Donny Osmond as a guest star.
Yes.
Or, if
Barbara Billingsley.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right. So we have these sort of legends that all of our bosses had grown up with and wanted to work with. Shannon Tweed, definitely an attractive woman, but she's also 30 years older than Parker Lewis or Mikey or whoever she's flirting with. And I'm like, is he really here for her? Or is that Clyde's crush?
Yeah. I mean, why else create a TV show if you can't just bring in all everything you ever wanted to do as a kid?
I mean, that was definitely the mode at the end at the end of the 80s, early 90s for sure.
Yeah.
That actually would explain a lot. We were talking at one point about how all the female characters are named like Donna Sue blah 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 or Mary Lou la la la, and it's got a very 50s kind of beatnik sound to it. So
totally.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah,
you can trace all of the influences if you choose to. American Graffiti is in there for sure. All the George Lucas movies are in there. The first Star Trek series is in there. A lot of the stuff that Jerry winds up doing has parallels in the Star Trek, the original series.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching it, you're seeing all this shit. But I think just to circle that back is all these guys who are our directors and writers were all huge fans of cinema, and that's what you see on screen in Parker Lewis is these little gags that they steal and remix into our world. And that's, it's been like that since. It's still that now, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny too. I don't know if I like the fact that we constantly refer to things as being dumb stands out like that, but because for us, I know for me, it's like dumb. I love this, like whenever I'm saying, I'm always like, God, that's dumb. It's so great,
No, I didn't take it negative at all. It's the reason that you can say dumb is because it's so basically funny
Yeah, it's
You're like,
wonderful.
it's so dumb.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Hopefully that's something that comes clear, like, to our audience, because my girlfriend did mention, she's like, you guys, she's like, I do it too, but you guys, you're laughing and stuff. And she's like, oh, that's so dumb. And she's like, some people may take that the wrong way. I was like, really? I was like, people get it, right? That we're not, we don't think it's dumb. I mean, we think it's hilarious, but
It's charming.
hopefully that comes through. Hopefully that people don't misunderstand.
Well, we can all do this together. We can challenge ourselves to not use dumb as an adjective anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be a tough one to break.
You're gonna have to start you have to start editing that out. So we're just like, oh man, that's so excellent.
I know a commercial break is a long time, but you've got to try and remember.
I think one of the reasons the show works so well is it took those tropes. I mean, it took the trope of like the big dumb oaf, but it twisted it, it turned it, it played with it. It didn't just rely on the trope, right? And Kubiac on the surface is that big dumb oaf, the football player, but there's so much more layers to him, that the writers and your performance brought to it, especially over the, even just over the first few episodes to develop him. What were your thoughts, like, as Kubiac's developing into a richer character? How much input did you have? Again, I know a lot of it relies on the writers, and there wasn't a lot of room for improv, but what was that process like, especially in the first half of the first season, to really get him off the ground?
Yeah, it's funny. I know when you talked to Corin, he said there wasn't a lot of room for improv, but I think that was more like Corin was too hungover to know his lines, and somebody was feeding it to him. Not to talk shit. See, I already disobeyed my notes. God damn it. I think a lot of times something would be written and it was already funny and a little off kilter and weird, and like we'd get into Kubiac's bathroom pizza lair, and once we were in there, the art department had done something so unique and weird that I feel like there was like a fishnet or something that had no reason to be there and wound up getting used. That's one of those foggy memory things.
Yeah.
But the point being was, it was the kind of show where the whole crew was all pros. These had all been guys that had worked on other TV shows on the Sony lot or the Columbia lot prior to that. And man, I have good stories for that too.
Oh.
But so everybody was like into figuring out how to make all this shit work. I know the other guys have told you about, special effects, practical effects, but that was probably the coolest thing for me, to see how the writers would create a problem and the rest of the team had to solve this problem. And it was imaginative and creative and allowed people to make their art, and we were kind of left alone for the first two seasons, and it got weirder and weirder, and I started eating those gummy fish, and I think by the end there was like a 3-foot, flounder, a gummy flounder or something. I just remember going, okay, we get it. The 12-foot fish. I'll eat it. Sure.
Point made.
Point made. Yeah. No, but super fun. It's watching it back. Watching you guys watch it back, I laughed so hard. I see so many friends that I haven't thought about in a while. I know you guys like to go through guest stars, but as you continue on through the season, you should keep an eye out for a very young a fellow named PJ Clapp, who is better known by the moniker Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You will see a very young Johnny Knoxville amongst our gang. Whenever you see a skateboarding hippie kid with a shaved head, that's one of my childhood buddies.
Okay.
So a couple of other friends followed me out here, and we were all living in an apartment like bohemian 90s kids, and so they, being a background actor was like $100 a day, and that was tons of money in 91. So I had a lot of friends who wound up coming out and being on the show, and it's just fun. It's fun to see that, and I do appreciate you guys rekindling any interest whatsoever.
Yeah, we're doing our part to try to keep it in the consciousness, because we just think it was such an underrated show, man. Like you mentioned the gummy fish, so I mean, of course, a big part of KUBE's personality is the food. Did they special made those gummy fish for you?
They did. It was just like a big old lemon. It tasted like lemon.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they got better and better at making them look like real fish. So fun. There's a great. I know the other guys talked to you about us going to France and the show being popular there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful web series they've been running forever, crowd-funded French web series that's a spoof of World of Warcraft.
Okay.
It's a show called Noob, Noob, and it's in French, but somehow they invited us, and Corin and I are actually in 3 or 4 episodes of their web series.
Okay.
And they, not to spoil anything, but at the very last day of shooting, one of them came to me and said, Mr. Kubiac, we have something. It was an actual, like a live fish.
Oh no.
A real fish.
Oh no.
Yeah, I only do that for France. So I ate this. I ate that fish. Oh yeah,
man,
it was gross,
Oh
I bet it
man.
was.
but it was fun.
God.
And that's me and my old buddy just doing our dumb stuff 30 years later.
That's hilarious.
That's commitment, man. That's
These poor French kids dragged this fish all the way up the mountain. Somebody's got to eat it.
Wow. I wonder if they didn't understand or if they were just like, let's see if we can get them to eat a real fish.
It's somewhere in between for sure.
Yeah. That's
Actually,
hilarious.
I have several tasks for the two of you before you finish this entire podcast,
good.
but we'll get to there as we think about it. But
Okay.
talking about the fish, I'm going to need each of you to eat a fish.
Well, like a
before
real
it's all
one?
done.
like what? So what? Do you know what kind of fish it was? Like, was it like an anchovy or sardine or something?
Which one's bigger?
Sardine's bigger, I think. Right?
It was definitely like a jumbo mama sardine.
Okay.
Oh, goody.
So you guys
I
are
could probably do a sardine.
You're not in the same city, right? You're one of you's West Coast, one of you's East Coast.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to find your local, fishmonger.
This was a horrible mistake, Chip. This was a horrible mistake.
So we have this on video that you're gonna make this happen before the end of the 3rd season.
That'll be one of our bonus episodes.
Actually, watching the 3rd season will make you want to eat it.
That'll be the highlight of our 3rd season review.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, at least it's not watching the 3rd season. It's just choking down a fish. All right, challenge accepted.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that about the French fans. We've noticed quite a few from the German-speaking countries have reached out to us or follow us on a regular basis. It was, that's where I watched it because I lived there when I was a kid. But for me, it's always associated with Germany. But I was surprised to find out, it ran for a long time, over there, and do you guys, I know you went to France. Do you go over there frequently? Do you get recognized when you go over there?
Corin goes over there. It's so funny to call him Corin. Please forgive me if I slip up and call him Corky or something. He goes a lot. He has he was on another show called Stargate, which was very popular over there as well. So he has a lot of fans over there. For me personally, I've been recognized a lot of places by, especially members of the armed forces of the U.S. who are stationed in Germany.
Yeah.
I know that ran all the time on the base TV. So, sorry,
that's where I saw it.
That's how you saw it.
Yeah.
Or thank you if that's how you. Were you a kid there? Or were you in the service or your folks?
My dad was. Yeah, my dad was in the army. Yeah, so I watched it on. I actually watched it on British television when it was airing over here. In like 1990, 91. Yeah. So and then I come back here and meet Chip, and it's like, hey, somebody else who really likes this show, just like me. It's great.
And how long have you guys known each other?
We were like 15, 16 when we met, maybe.
Oh wow!
So we met in high school. He moved. So I grew up in Virginia. He moved out to Virginia. Was that from Germany? Was that your first stop? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We met in high school, and we had a mutual love of music and wanting to start a band, and then we also both just loved Parker Lewis and the absurd comedy of that show. And I think at that point it was probably in syndication on USA. Yeah. So I know there were summer times when we were out of school that it was like playing like 2-hour blocks, like on USA in the morning. We'd watch that and then we'd go play music and stuff.
Yeah. So, you still play music together?
We've collabed. I mean, now that I'm out in LA, we've collaborated on some, recording some 2 tracks now, right? I guess.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yeah. So we're still collaborating, here and there.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of the internet,
Yeah,
you can record stuff across the country.
Well, I was going to tell you, we the three of us all have similar problem, which is we all have gas.
Yes. Oh, I definitely have gas.
I have
gear acquisitions.
I mean, yeah, gear acquisition syndrome. I just wanted you to know that I was
oh yes,
part of the club here.
Yeah.
I know Troy loved to show you how much money he saved by using his hi-fi system from 1991.
Yeah.
That he got at the Sony store.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm here in the midst of my gear, and I see your gear, and I am envious. I see a beautiful blue guitar behind.
That's my
bass guitar there.
And I needed to be able to pay rent and eat food, so I never got into modular synth.
Oh, dude, it's bad.
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
I see your perfect circuit lineup.
Almost
back there.
Yeah, it's and then I got a Prophet Rev 2 over there. This is only what you see here is only a fifth of. I mean, there's stuff in the closets, and it's bad, man.
That's the nature of it.
I need help.
Just tell me one more thing about your synths, and then we can move on. Sorry.
Yeah.
What is the little tiny one on the bookshelf in the back? Is that a Moog?
It's a Roland Boutique. They put them out a couple years ago.
I see gear that I want. What? I don't have that.
It's like a remake of the Juno. The 60 and the it's a 60 and the Jupiter 8, I guess. Not the Jupiter 8. They have whole nother module. But yeah, it's just a little almost like a toy version. But
super fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to play with.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got us off track.
No, that's. I love talking about freaking synthesizers and gear and music, man. But I could talk all day.
Me too. It's the problem. We should start our own podcast, just gear.
Dude, let's do it.
Now I'd like to call your attention to a mistake in the program for this evening.
We're talking about the food and the gummy fish, but I mean, there was also so much random food they threw at you that you had to just gobble down. What was your feeling about that? Like the fact that you had to eat so much freaking food. I mean, did you spit it out after the take or whatever? And also, was it anything they gave you that you're just like, oh God, I really do not want to try to eat this?
It's funny because I feel like there was probably something I was apprehensive about, but honestly, I feel like my whole attitude towards the entire experience was, wait, you're going to pay me to just eat all this food and say like 3 words occasionally? Okay. Yeah. I can't think of anything that they threw at me. I'll tell you, by the end, again, I hate to harp on the 3rd season, but by the end, they had John Penn and I eating quite a bit. And there was one thing where it was like a whole cake and a giant like chef's steel bowl of whipped cream, and we were supposed to be like, I mean, I don't know how much fucking whipped cream we ate, man. That's really gross. So there were moments, and my whole career I'm eating something usually, but one of the very worst things, you were asking about the potato flashlight. On your YouTube channel.
Yes.
And that's definitely one of the grossest things I've ever eaten was cold mashed potatoes in a wax cylinder. It was rough, and I was just chomping away.
Oh, you hit it well.
Exactly. It's professional.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was interesting watching. I mean, we're halfway through, maybe a little more than halfway through the first season, but just watching Kubiac transition evolve from the murderous antagonist that he is in the first episode to until his little brother shows up at the end, to the, he's basically like an honorary 4th bud, like halfway through the season. Is that the direction you were hoping to go? Like, did you expect to be the enforcer a little more frequently, or?
I had no expectations, I don't think. It was so, it's so quick. So every script is like, what the hell are they doing to us this week? And how are we going to get out of this mess? And so it was fun. And again, I'm young and it's all very new, and it's hard not to retcon it, if you know what I mean by that. So, like what I was telling you earlier about the remix idea is all something relatively new because
Right.
that's all I do is sit around and think about my past conquests. Um, but it was so fun, man. It's hard to even imagine a show being made in that way now, just knowing how different the business is. Like we got away with just long days of doing insane stuff that they would never pay for anymore. Not a chance. It would all be a computer doing it somewhere, and Jerry's coat would be a close up.
That's right. Yeah.
It's actually funny. You guys, I watched the episode, the science fair episode that you guys covered, and there was a thing where it was a little montage of the trash machine turning it into Rubik's cubes or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's not Troy. That's not Troy.
Oh yeah.
His hairy ass hands, like old man hairy hands.
Dude, so the episode I just cut, which is episode 16, which is Jerry, Portrait of a Video Junkie, and Chris and I just recorded this last week, but like there's a shot where it's synchronized swatches and all their arms go in, and Jerry's arm, if they have a close up on Jerry's arm because he sold a swatch, so he's got a smiley face watch. But that close up, I pointed out when Chris and I were recording, I was like, that is not Troy's arm. That's a hairy ass old man's arm.
Just got his stunt double with a hairy arm.
Yeah, it was probably his double's arm. And a lot of that, because we were shooting on 16 millimeter film, everything took forever.
Yeah.
So a lot of that was given to the second unit, right? Like, I know that fucking montage of the trash machine was not on first unit. And we had a lot of that. We had a lot of fun second unit stuff. There was a great guy named Mike Finney who was the director of a lot of that material. And we never knew what he was doing. And so we just see it cut into the show. And that was fun. I was thinking about talking to you guys, and I was thinking about how we used to watch it because, like Corin said, I was a fan of the show as well. Like I would have watched the show as a young person when it was on. And we would have people over to watch the show, me and the four dudes, and we all lived in this apartment in Hollywood, and found out later in life that was where the Night Stalker had lived. That's apartment. Anyway, that's a whole other story. That's Hollywood. This is Hollywood.
Yeah, right.
So we would have like maybe 8 or 10 people over, and we're all crowded around my little 13-inch color TV to watch the show. It was like, I remember when somebody I knew bought a 27-inch TV. Like, wow, GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
That's great.
So funny.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, now TVs like take up a whole freaking wall, and it's like, good Lord.
I just saw you can buy a inflatable outdoor projector, like a drive-in movie theater, 124 feet diagonal.
Holy
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different times, kids.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that concludes part 1 of our interview with Abraham Benrubi. Be on the lookout in 2 weeks for part 2.
Jerry said you guys were going to do something really neat today.
That's good shit.